Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Scott Schilling Speaks. I'm your host, Scott Schilling. Today we have a friend who is a business growth consultant, a marketing strategist, an author, a professional speaker, a podcast host. I mean, what doesn't she do, right? And Carden, thanks for joining us on Scott Schilling Speaks.
Thank you, Scott. It's an honor to be here. I'm happy to be here.
So you had a corporate career and then decided to be won over to the entrepreneurial side, and now have all this fun as a consultant and a coach. How do you like being on this side of the business?
Well, I've been doing it for over 30 years. So I say at this point, I would be unemployable. There's no way anyone would employ me at this stage. But I actually left so that I could be a stay-at-home mom. When I was in corporate, I was in retail management and managed multiple $1 million departments. And it was a grind being in that kind of a lifestyle because of the hours and all of that. And so I left that career after 13 years and decided to be a mom. And I really started my first business over 30 years ago now out of financial hardship, because I also left behind my corporate income at the same time. Yep. And we moved back to the Midwest. We were living in California at the time, and we moved back to the Midwest. And where we moved, there wasn't really any opportunity for me to even work. I mean, we outside of a small town in the country. So I was looking for a way to make money, and that was how my first business started. That was 6 businesses ago, though. I've sold five that I've started, and this is my 6th. So it's all I know, Scott.
Right, the true serial entrepreneur, and isn't
Yes.
it the way? It's interesting. Once the business ownership and the entrepreneurialism bug bites you, you tend to kind of stay there, whether they're exceptional opportunities or not as good for a period of time or back and forth. But once you've been bit, you've been bit, just the way it stays. So how do you help your clients grow their business? I mean, I know business growth is a big part of what you do, and being a marketing strategist, all those things. What's your favorite way to help somebody grow their business?
Well, one of my favorite strategies, which is a really, really fast way for people to make big leaps in their business, is most people have the opportunity to add more premium services. And I will tell you, I've used this strategy with everything from plumbing companies to now I do it a lot online with coaches, consultants, professional service providers. But a lot of people don't realize they have bigger offers that they could be making their customers or their clients. And for whatever reason, they tend to focus on a lot of times lower value types of items. They think it's easier to sell that. So a good example of this would be even just say a plumbing company who sells their services. They go out and they fix a drain, right? Or they fix a toilet. But what if they focused on hot water heaters, which is a $2,000 sale as opposed to a $50 or $60 sale? But with coaches and consultants, a lot of times they have more opportunity to sell ultra premium services, and they don't do it. They fall into sort of the low ticket trap, the Russell Brunson funnel way of doing business, right? And so often, I mean, it's just not uncommon for me to take someone who's been selling their services at very low fees for a long time, and all of a sudden give them, help them generate $50,000 clients or $75,000 or $100,000 clients, because they don't even realize that they could do that.
Right.
And so that's one of my favorite growth strategies. But along with that also come other things. You have to make sure that you're targeting the right people, obviously, that have both the need and the finances to invest in those types of services. And it doesn't have to be all they sell. But the thing is, if they target those people, it generally gives them the cash flow to then do other things in their business. So many people do just the opposite. They start out low, And then they try to somewhere in there sell some high ticket things or more premium services. But the low ticket thing is such a grind, and you have to get so many people before you make any real money in your business. And I really believe this is a lot of times why people fail or struggle or just, give up, because they don't get that traction. So if they flip that idea and they start very high and they focus on, okay, what is the thing that I could do so that I do so well? I'm an expert at this. I can deliver this in a great way. And people, it's very valuable to them. It's a very high perceived value. If I can start with that, and I can sell even one or two of those clients, I now can have the cash flow to do other things. And so it's a different philosophy from what most people are learning online and teaching. And but along with that, they also obviously have to get the marketing right. They have to get a marketing strategy that's right. They have to make sure that their offer is dialed in a way that people will gladly and happily pay them the fees that they're asking. And then they also have to be able to close those sales. So those are all pieces. I like to call them the fundamentals of a coaching, consulting, or professional services business. Until they get those things in place, they're going to struggle to add on those lower ticket sales that we call passive income, that are not really passive, right? Until you can throw a lot of money behind a team to run it for you, or run ads and all of those things. So a little bit of, I kind of flipped that whole value ladder idea. Once we do that, we also have to build a team. They want to add additional services. So I teach them how to partner, do JV partnerships, how to add other services into their business. But everything is around one core thing. So they're not trying to build multiple businesses. They're still out there marketing and selling one thing. But then as they're working with their clients, they have other products and services that they can offer them that their clients will naturally need. And so that is the fastest way that I scale people, is really start with that core and build out from there. And it's a really quick way to get them really great wins and build a business that's very lucrative and also has a great impact. That was a long-winded answer, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think, well, but it was a great answer. And the bottom line to that is there's only so many different ways to grow business. Most of them, there's only 3 or 4 ways to grow business total. Gaining new clients is obviously one of them, but creating new offerings for your clients that are consistent and congruent with what you're doing. And that's what you were saying there. And I agree. Once you know your clientele inside and out, and you have an opportunity to serve them in a different capacity, it's a whole lot easier to do that. The relationship already exists. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. The trust is already there. All those different kinds of things. Totally agree with you there that the extension of a line is a whole lot easier and a whole lot more cost effective than to go, by trying to add new customers all the time.
Right.
Like customer retention is also the other thing that some of that line extension can actually do, is actually help with the retention as well.
That's right. And you're increasing the average sale value as well, when you're offering them other things that they would go out and get from someone else anyway. It's kind of like a fitness business where they're going to offer personal training, and they're going to offer weight loss programs, and they're going to offer supplements. None of those things are a disconnect to what their core business is. And so it makes a lot of sense to their customers, and they increase the average value of their clients' sales. And so, but people don't often think about doing that in a coaching or a consulting business.
Yeah. Also ultimately the lifetime value of that client as well, taking that and extending it out in such a way that, again, can then be paralleled to make it easier to get the new client, because now you've got kind of a new blueprint of what that perfect client is. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I've worked many years to be the hub to many people spoke purposely to be that spot where people come in and they will now ask me for the products that are the natural extensions.
Yes.
And it's a whole lot easier when they're asking you for it than you trying to take it to them.
Yes. Well, and the other trap that people fall into is, especially online, there's no shortage of shiny objects, right? And so people end up adding all of these products and services to their suite of products. And a lot of times, many of them are not even making them any money. And they're putting a lot of time and effort, and they get very overwhelmed and exhausted. Exhaustion happens, burnout happens. And it's because, again, they're not doing it really the simplest way. And so they're trying to market all these different things. But no, everything you're saying, retention, the lifetime value is higher. All of those things, when you do things, I like to say in sequence, and it's a natural progression. So I offer, for example, I know that as I try to help coaches and consultants elevate their brand, they might want to start a podcast. I have a team that can do all that podcast stuff for them, can do all that back end work if they want to do that. I have I'm partnered with them. So I have an income stream from that. I have someone that can help them write a book and get featured in the media. And that is an income stream for me. And I have someone that can do their LinkedIn marketing. That's an income stream for me. That's recurring revenue. But I don't personally have to go out and do all of that work. I am partnered with people, but they're natural products and services that my clients will want as I'm helping them scale their business.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting that you said the podcast thing. I was on a podcast the other day as a guest, and I shared that when I came into the speaking industry back in 2003 full time, the first thing was you've got to have a book. Whether you wanted a book or didn't want a book was totally irrelevant. You had to have a book because it was your new calling card.
Yes.
And so you got into an anthology book, or I got into a few to actually have multiple calling cards, as it turned out. But I was saying the other day on this podcast, I said, I think today's equivalent is you have to have a podcast. It's now your calling card. It is your great credibility source. But the other side of it is it's what really, at least for me, has opened up a significant amount of business because of the conversations you're having.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally amazing, which is why we built the Be Connected broadcast network. As an example, I mean, we now have people who have sold 35 million books of a single book doing shows on this network, have amazing million or more followers. But what's happening is all these podcasts and all these people are bringing people that then open up the next conversation.
Yes.
And that's really what growing, in my opinion, growing any business, and it really is irrelevant what your business is. You got to have a customer. You got to have a client.
All the same. It's the same for everyone. You have to market, sell, deliver, right? No difference there.
I say it quite often. People make selling and in business way too hard. It's really 4 words: identify problem, provide solution. It's like you say, you've got to identify what you can do. So how, when you're working with your clients and you're making these suggestions of whether it be line extensions or additional services, how do most of them take that as a strategy going forward? I mean, do they grab onto it pretty easily, or is it sometimes you got to tussle with them a little bit?
No, actually, it's interesting that you asked that, and it's a great question. I do what I call reverse engineering, and I really find out from them, what do you want your business to look like? How many hours do you want to work? How many clients do you want to work with? And how much money do you want to make? How much do you want to take home, put in your pocket? So I find all of those things out from them first. What's the lifestyle you want? What's the amount of money? And then from there, we really reverse engineer, and we say, okay, based on what you're doing right now, is that even feasible? A lot of times it's not. They either would max out on time or, they wouldn't have time. So when I open their eyes and show them this is why this probably won't work or won't work real well, or you're not going to make the money that you want or the income that you want. And I show them different strategies that could be implemented to get them what they want. No, I don't really get pushback because they have the goals and there's certain things they want to accomplish. And when I clearly show them it's not going to probably happen with what you're doing, this would be a different path. It works really well.
Excuse me. I think the other side of it is, and I think we can all agree, business will never be done the same way again as it was done a year and a half, 2 years ago. I mean, it just, it will not go back. The rubber band has been stretched beyond its starting dimension and will not.
That's good for us, Scott.
No, I agree.
It's great for us, I think.
I agree. But there's so much more of it online. And so again, there's a lot of coaching that needs to be done, a lot of getting people to think through new ways of doing it.
Mhm.
Are the folks that you're working with pretty accepting to that whole process? That, hey, I'm going to have to reinvent, even though I love doing what I was doing the way I was doing it. Now I've got to reinvent in this goofy age that we're living in at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the clients that I attract now are already online. They're already trying to really do it. And so that's kind of a natural fit. But even if they weren't really online, I think most people have recognized now that we are in a new world. And that this is no longer an option. Being online and online marketing and digital assets and being able to grow your business online is just as important. It's more important now than it ever has been. And you said, it's completely changed and it's not going to be the same. I will say though, I love helping people create a hybrid model. So I love being online, but I also go out and speak. I also do things offline. I know you do as well. Mostly speaking, I would say, is what I do now. Back in the day, I used to do a lot of networking and things like that. I don't do that anymore, but I do go out and speak. I still build partnerships. And so I think the best model is to merge the two.
Yeah.
Because that's the most powerful. I mean, then you're getting both sides of the world where your clients could be. And it's really speeds the know, like, and trust so much faster. I used to actually teach this when I worked online, but a lot of what I did was offline. And I used to try to get business owners and the professionals that I was working with, look, we've got to merge this. You can actually speed relationships by also taking your offline relationship and bringing it online. And letting people see what you're all about. And, content and the online world, I mean, it's changed the game in business and it's leveled the playing field for small guys, right? Where it used to be the big guys, got all the money, they got all the clients, and that's not the case anymore. Now anyone can micro influence, they can find clients all over the world, they can have a global business. Anyone can do that if they're willing to put in the work, get the right strategies in place. So I do believe it is a faster path if you merge the two worlds. And that's what I teach my clients to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think very, very true. The technology that's available now, again, what we're doing here at the Be Connected Broadcast Network, but also just the fact that it still blows me away to think that this webinar platform had 10 million users in December of 2019. And by May of 2020, they had 500 million.
Wow, that's amazing.
It just, the number still to this day blows me away that kind of scalability and that kind of opportunity existed. So again, this pandemic and this business disruption and everything that's gone on, while it has hurt many, many, many people, not to make light of that, but it's also provided a lot of opportunity for people to now take tried and true strategies and technologies and different things and put them to use. Again, it's one of the reasons I love doing a show like this, is to be able to share, but also share my guests and lift my guests up so that more people get to know them. I mean, it makes for a great collaborative world right now.
I think too, it's a lot of businesses, we heard the word pivot, right? So much through COVID, but even way back when, I told you I built 5 other businesses, and a couple of those businesses were health clubs. And even way back when, oh gosh, I don't even know what year, when I kind of came online and started doing things online. Even back then, I was taught by a coach when I had one of my health clubs to build a digital product. And so I took one of my very successful programs and I turned it into a digital product. Now, I didn't know enough what I was doing, and I sold some. It didn't make me a ton of money online or anything, but it was my first taste of being online and really being able to offer something where I didn't have to be there physically to be able to sell that. And so the innovation that we have now, I mean, people sell podcast spots, right? They sell guest spots. They sell the back end work. Like you said, the opportunities are endless. And this is one of the things too that I love to help people figure out is, how can you innovate in your business? What are the ways you want to monetize your business? And so often it's a very natural flow if it's done right. But I think any business could do this. Look at even small businesses like an HVAC company or a plumbing company. They could do a membership site. They could do, they could do a DIY site even if they wanted to, and sell memberships to that. There's so many so many ways they could monetize that don't require help. They don't require employees. They don't, there's just so many different things that can be done. But I love the innovation that we can have and the creativity that we can have in the online world.
Yeah, certainly I was working to do something around the house. I mean, my goodness, you can go on YouTube, you can go on so many different places and find somebody giving a tip on how to accomplish that, right? And go, wow, I never knew that. Who would have thought it would be actually fairly easy? Well, I think anything, when you follow an expert, I think anything becomes much easier, right?
Yes. And it can all be monetized.
Exactly.
That's always my business hat on. What can I say, right? I help people make money. So it's always something that I'm thinking about.
No, it's a key thing at this time. We were just actually this morning, I was helping somebody write an article. They asked me for some quotes for an article. We were talking about social entrepreneurialism, and social entrepreneurialism being for-profit businesses taking on nonprofit challenges and trying to use, again, the for-profit side to then pay it forward and do some wonderful things that way. And I think that there's so many just so many different things that can be done these days to move a business forward. And it's okay to monetize. It's more than okay to monetize so that you can do the social entrepreneurial contributions.
That's right.
It does take the funding to accomplish things.
You can't pour from an empty cup, can you?
No, it doesn't. Well, you can. You just don't get a whole bunch.
You don't get a whole lot. That's true.
So agree with that too. Again, it's something that we're working to share with folks. That it's funny because I've helped coach a number of people into starting their podcast, and they're going, but I don't like the way I sound.
Who does?
That's the way you sound. I don't like the way I look on camera. It's the way you look. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
If you don't like these things, then work to modify them, but also get over them. They are what they are. When you talk on whether it be the phone or on stage or on Zoom all day long, at some point your voice quality is probably not the best,
Right.
but it still gets the message across and all those other things. So I think it's funny to hear some of the fears and some of the things that still creep out in people.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
who am I to share this message? My coaching to many people is you're the only you. You're the
That's
only
right.
one with that subset of knowledge and information, and you're the
Mhm.
only one that can help a lot of people a lot of times. So
That's right. And if you don't do it, someone else will step up and do it, and you've missed that opportunity. So
yeah, which is really a shame.
it really is. You have a lot to give. And you know what? That is really just ego, right? When we allow our ego to stop us from giving and serving and doing what we are really called to do. I mean, I feel like I was called into the coaching space. It's not anything I ever thought about doing.
Right.
Once I worked with a coach and saw the value, I was like, I want to do, I want to do this. I want to help people do this. And so yeah, I think we have to get over ourselves and we have to realize I have the same conversation with my clients too, as I'm helping them elevate their brand online and do all of those things. And I said, look, it really isn't about you. I mean, it's about your income and your business, sure, but it's not about you in particular. And you're making it about you. What if you don't help that person that needs you? Or you're not willing to put yourself out there? How are these people ever going to even be able to get your help?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it is just one of those things you just have to kind of suck it up, so to speak, and take the leap and do it anyway. And the more you do it, the less you think about it. I mean, I don't give any thought to it anymore. I do it so much, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
Do I love the way I look on camera? No. Do I love the way I sound? No. But it, like you said, it's me, so I can't do anything about it.
It is what it is.
But
Well,
I do have a lot to share, so
yep.
happy to do that.
Well, and glad that you've been here for this time because we've gone through our time. So let everybody know how to get a hold of you.
Yes, you can absolutely find me on LinkedIn. I'm getting ready to set up my Be Connect profile. I'm just a little behind. I traveled last week, so I didn't get to it, but I will be on Be Connect. And then I'm also on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel. If you just go out and Google Ann Carden, you will have no trouble finding anything I have lots of things out there, so you can reach me multiple ways. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Clubhouse once in a while, but I do, you can connect with me there. So yes, I'm out there all over the place.
Well, thanks for joining us here today. Thank you all for joining us on Scott Schilling Speaks. We'll see you again tomorrow, exact same time. God bless.